we were not able to cover last time, which I need to do before we can move on, is we need to discuss lines and circles. So I know Marilee's discussed points and circles with you and whether a point lay inside a circle, on the circle, or outside the circle. What I want to introduce you tonight is to lines and circles, and then we're going to start talking about tangents and circles. That's really important. Okay, so what skills do we need to be able to do this? We need to be able to solve simultaneously. All right, so if we want to determine a point or points of intersection between a straight line and a circle, we need to solve our equations simultaneously. Okay, so this is why teachers at school spend a lot of time talking about simultaneous equations and giving you guys practice with that. So let's have a look at the first example. They have given us a straight line. It's the line y equals x plus 1, and it tells us that it intersects the circle x squared plus y squared equals 25. They've asked us to determine the coordinates of the points of intersection. So whenever we are determining the coordinates of the point of intersection, it's a simultaneous solution. Okay, so in this case, what we would do is we would consider the equation y equals x plus 1 as equation number 1. We would consider x squared plus y squared equals 25 as our second equation. All right, and what we would want to do here is we would want to sub equation number 1 into equation number 2. Can anybody tell me what I should write when I want to do that? Anybody feeling brave and wants to unmute? What do you think I should write if I'm subbing equation number 1 into equation number 2?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. I think if you wanna calculate equation 1 into equation 2, where we see y, we're gonna put x plus 1.
Lovely. Okay, so we're going to write x squared, and in place of y, as you said, we're going to put x plus 1, and we're going to square it, and we're going to make that equal to 25. And now we're going to do our solution for the x coordinates at that point. So let's get on with that. Obviously, what we would need to do here is square our binomial. So I'm just going to expand my brackets. And I would also need to bring the 25 over to the other side because this is going to end up being quadratic. So everything needs to be on one side and equal to 0. So removing my brackets now, I would end up with x squared plus 1x plus another 1x plus 1 minus 25. And now I want to get my equation into standard form. So this is going to give us 2x squared plus 2x, and now I've got 1 take away 25, so that would leave me with negative 24 equals 0. Okay, so when you get to this point over here, you have a choice, okay? Either you can choose to go and factorize. Lisa's already got the answers. Well done, Lisa. Thank you. If you want to go ahead and go and factorize, that's absolutely fine. Or if you are really, really not good at factorizing and it's a problem for you, then you could use the quadratic formula. Okay, so what I'm going to do, because this one isn't too bad, I'm going to divide through by 2. So I'm going to end up writing up here at the top. So I'm going to divide through by 2. That's going to give me x squared plus x minus 12 is equal to 0. And now I'm going to factorize my trinomial. So that's going to give me x plus 4 times x minus 3 is equal to 0. Matrix, when you are solving quadratic equations, and you're going to be solving lots of quadratic equations, make sure that when you have it in standard form, that you do not leave off the equals 0, okay? Because if they award an accuracy on that line and you leave off the equals 0, your accuracy mark is gone. Same thing applies to the next line over here. All right, when you factorize, make sure that your brackets are equal to 0, because if they're not, you can get penalized. If you use the quadratic formula, make sure that you've showed that you've subbed the numbers in. Okay, a lot of students write the quadratic formula down on the page with the B's and the C's and the A's, and then they pick up the calculator, they work out the answers, and they write it down. That's not going to get you the marks that you need. You've got to show that you've subbed into the formula. Okay, so that's the deal with maths. Anytime you use a formula, doesn't matter what formula it is, you must show your substitution. All right, so I'm just emphasizing that over here because this is a common issue. All right, so we end up with x equals -4 or x is equal to 3. Well done. And now what we would do is we'd want to go back and use the easier of the two equations, just because it makes life easier for us, in order to solve for the corresponding y coordinates. So here we would get y equals -4 plus 1, which would give us -3. So -4 and -3 are one point of intersection, and then the other one, y is equal to 3 plus 1, so y would be equal to 4. Sorry, I should have or in there. So either 3 or 4. And I see a couple of people have put answers into the chat, and there we go. Yes, Siam Tanda, I'm getting the same answers you. Yes, Notam Bamtishani, I hope I said that correctly. Danelle, what happened to the y? My sweetheart, you cannot solve you cannot solve an equation with two unknowns in it. Okay, so we replaced, as the young man, I can't remember who it was, as the young man in the beginning said, we replaced the y with what? Y is equal to, because we can't have an equation with x's and y's in it and then solve it. Okay, we can only solve for one letter at a time. Okay, so we're going to solve for x first and then go back and solve for y afterwards. All right, are there, let me just have a read what you're saying, Nolwazi. Yeah, absolutely. So Nolwazi, what you can do, I just wrote the equations down on the page. Nolwazi, you are welcome to start at this step over here. Okay, and so they'll give you a mark for substituting, definitely. They also give a mark on standard form. They give a mark for factors or the quadratic formula, and then for your x's, and then for your y's. Okay, so that's where your marks would be allocated. Those are the important steps to show. All right, is everybody happy with that? Any questions before we move on? Any questions, guys? All good. Okay, lovely. So what we can assume by the fact that there are two solutions here is that the straight line intersects, please mute, thank you, is that the straight line intersects the circle at two places. So our circle x squared plus y squared equals 25 would obviously be centered at the origin, wouldn't it? And a line like x plus 1, y equals x plus 1 would go through it like that. So there would be one point of intersection over here for which we've calculated the coordinates and another point of intersection over there. Okay, so we can see by the fact that we've got two answers, our line must intersect our circle twice. Okay, so I'm emphasizing this because when you solve these kinds of equations, there are three possible outcomes. Okay, so three possible things that can happen. The first thing that can happen, Matrix, is that you have two pairs of solutions, like we did in our example. Or we have one pair of solutions. Or the third option is that there is no solution at all. Okay, so there are three possible yes, it's a secant, Lisa, quite right. Okay, it goes through the circle twice. Very nice. Thank you so much for that lovely word. Yes, absolutely. There we go. Look, just as Lisa said. Okay, if there are two pairs of solutions, Matrix, there are 2 points of intersections and the straight line is called a secant. Okay, we call a straight line a secant when it goes through a circle twice. Okay, if there is one pair of solutions, then there is one point of intersection, and then the straight line is called a tangent. Okay, and that's a word that we've all heard before, especially when it comes to Euclidean geometry. And then the last situation, there is no solution. We end up with non-real values for x. For example, this is just a straight line. Okay, so the straight line doesn't touch the circle, so we cannot solve for a point of intersection because it does not exist. So at this point, I hope you guys are taking screenshots. This is important information. And then we are going to move on. So I'll just go up a little bit and then down a little bit. You really just need what's in the table. Okay, so screenshots, screenshots, screenshots before we move on. Okay, hopefully I've given you enough time to be able to do that. I'm moving on to the next thing. All right, so another piece of important information, I suggest screenshotting this as well. All right, if you are given the equations of a circle and a straight line, and you are required to prove that the straight line is a tangent to the circle, then all you need to show is that there is only one point of intersection between the two graphs. Okay, so that's the idea behind proving sorts of questions. And we're going to look at that a little bit further this evening as well. Okay, so if they said to you, prove that y equals whatever it is a tangent to a circle, you would then solve simultaneously like I have shown you, but instead of ending up with a quadratic, you would end up with a linear equation because you're only going to get one solution. Okay, so CM Tanda, is that where you wanted me to go up to? Take a screenshot. And then I'm going to go down again. Perfect. Okay. And I hope you guys have all screenshotted this as well, because these sorts of questions do come up. And obviously what we're doing now, I mean, it's not just meant to be help for exams, it's meant to be help in control tests and class tests and all the other kind of assessments that you are given as well. Okay, so you could end up doing an assignment or an investigation on analytical geometry, and this sort of thing comes up and it'll be useful to you. Okay, let's carry on. All right, now, here is an opportunity for you guys to practice what I have just showed you. All right. Don't worry about questions 2 and 3 for now. I want you to focus either on question 1.1, okay, which is a little bit of an easier question. So it's getting a little green light. And then question 1.2 is a little bit more difficult. All right. In question 1.2, you first need to do something to this equation before you can sub it in over here. So I'm just dropping some hints. So this one is going to get a yellow light. So either you're going to do question 1.1 or you're going to do question 1.2. Okay. Faheen, you got a question?
No, ma'am. I think for 1.2, I think I know what happens by that y equation.
Okay. All right, lovely.
Oh,
What do you
sorry,
think
ma'am.
happens?
Ma'am, I think you'll have to either switch the x letter or the y or the number 2. The 2 must come on as an x must go by the equal sign, become positive.
Absolutely. That's definitely one way of doing it. 100%. Good job. Okay, so you're going to try 1.2 then, Faheen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, awesome. All right, so off you go, guys, either 1.1 or 1.2. When you are finished, please can you just put done or finished or whatever the thing is in the chat, and then Yolanda and I can go through the answers with you. Of course, if you need help, we're right here. Go for it, Matrix.
Yep, we can do this, guys. Let's go. I see Rolly is very focused, guys. We can do it. Matsidiso's hand is up. I'm not sure whether it's to
Sure.
ask a question, Matsidiso.
Machidiso, do you want to ask a question? You're welcome to unmute and speak if you want to. Everyone else, you just carry on doing what you're doing. Maybe Machidiso didn't mean to press the hand up button. Oh, we've got another hand up. Faheen, you got your hand up again?
Yes,
Was
ma'am.
that from earlier?
Help, please, actually. I need
That's
some help
fine.
here.
What are you stuck with?
Ma'am, when I first inserted the y, I'm talking about question 1.1, actually.
Okay.
The equation where I put y equals to x plus 4, I inserted it and I solved the brackets after putting it by the y's place squared. And then I got like 2x squared plus 8x minus 8. And then what I did next was I took the 2 out and I got 4x because I divided the 2 with the 8 in the middle and the 8 again to get 4. So now my equation is x squared plus 4x minus 4. Now my question is, will I get factors for this? Because now I'm going to use a quadratic equation to solve that.
Yeah, you see now that's not going to
easy, isn't
factorize.
it?
That's not going to factorize correctly. So let's just see if you haven't made a mistake. So what you should have ended up with was x squared, and then in place of your y, you would have had x plus 4, which you needed to square as well. So you've done that bit over there. Once you've multiplied all of this out, you would end up with x squared plus 8x plus 16.
Yes, that's what I did. That's what I also got.
So did you get that?
Yes.
Okay, so that gave you 2x squared plus 8x, whoopsie, plus 16 equals 0. Is that what you've got?
Kind of, yes, but I took the 8 from the first equation over, and now minus the 16 with the 8. That's what I did.
Okay, so what I've got on the screen here is what would be correct, okay? Because once you have multiplied out your these two brackets over here, the x plus 4 times x plus 4, you should have got x squared plus 8x plus 16.
Yes,
All right, so somewhere there you've made a mistake, but this is what it should look like. Okay. All right, so go from here. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right.
So, ma'am, 1 second. So this.
Sorry. I see what I've done wrong here. Sorry, Faheen, it's not you, it's me. Sorry, this was equal to 8. I made it equal to 0. Sorry, my girl. So what should have happened? Beg your pardon. Sorry, Faheen. No wonder you were wondering what on earth I'm talking about here. Okay, so the minus 8 should have come over to the other side like that, which then means that once we got here, yes, there we go. So we would have had 2x squared plus 8x plus 8 equals 0. Sorry, Faheen, you were right and I was wrong. Okay, so then you divided through by 2. So you would have ended up with x squared plus 4x plus 4 when you divided through by 2. Okay. All right. So I see there's a few people that are saying done in the chat. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to continue with Faheen's solution, and then we can talk about 1.2. Anybody who tried that, then they can tell us what they wrote. Okay, so Faheen, did you end up with x squared plus 4x plus 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. So what sort of trinomial is that, Faheen? Can you remember? It's got a special name, these sorts of trinomials.
I think it's a binomial. I'm not sure.
A binomial's got two terms in it. It's got a special name. Let's just see if somebody else knows. Don't go away. It's fine. Lisa, your hand's up. Lisa, you're welcome to unmute.
I want to answer the second question, ma'am.
Oh, you want to answer the second question? Okay, that's fine. We'll come back to you with the second question. All right, so this is called, I don't know if anybody can remember this. It's not difference of two squares, but thank you for saying that. When you've got difference of two squares, you've got a perfect square and a minus and another perfect square. It's only a binomial. Okay, so this over here is referred to as a perfect square trinomial. Do you remember that? You would have first heard about these in grade 10, a perfect square trinomial. All right, so, and we also encounter them when we have to complete the square. All right, so when we are writing the equation of a circle and we go taking it from general form to center radius form and we complete the square, we end up with a perfect square trinomial in terms of x and a perfect square trinomial in terms of y. Okay, so when this factorizes, I just want to see if one of you can give me the answer. It's going to factorize into x plus 2 squared. Okay, does that make sense, Faheen?
Thank you, ma'am. It helped me a lot. Thanks. Thanks.
No problem. So when I take the square root on both sides, it means I'm only going to end up with one solution, and that would be x is equal to -2. Who's talking? Hi.
How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. Ma'am, here for 1.2 here, y is y minus x is equal to 2. Isn't it like we must make y as the subject of the formula by saying
Absolutely.
saying negative x will be y equals to 2 plus x. Then afterwards
Absolutely.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, quite right, quite right. And I think that's probably what Lisa did. You've got an alternative there as well. So either you can make y the subject of the formula, or you can make x the subject of the formula. It doesn't matter, either one. All right, so Lisa, I'm going to come back to you. What did you do in 1.2, Lisa?
I made y the subject of the formula to the second equation.
All right. Okay, so when you made y the subject of the formula, what did you have?
Y is equal to 2 plus x.
All right. And then what did you write after that?
I say x squared minus 2x plus open brackets 2 plus x close brackets all squared.
Keep going.
Minus 4 open brackets 2 plus x close brackets minus 8 is equal to 0.
Lovely, lovely, lovely. Keep going, Lisa. That's lovely.
Okay. X squared minus 2x plus 4 plus 2x plus 2x plus x squared minus 8 is equal to 0.
Okay. So what I've done here now, I don't know if I've gone too fast here, all right, but I've squared the binomial already. Okay, so x plus 2 times x plus 2 is x squared plus 4x plus 4. I hope I haven't left anybody behind in doing that. And then here we would have minus 4x minus 4 minus 8 is equal to 0. Good stuff, Lisa. Keep going. Lovely.
2x squared plus 2x minus 4.
Okay, so now in terms of, so here, sorry, just say that again, 2x
sorry,
squared?
Sorry, Teacher Lee. I'm not sure whether it's me. Sorry to disturb. But aren't we repeating another 4 there, or maybe it's me? Where it's supposed to be just negative
Oh,
4.
sorry. Yes, over here, there's not supposed to be that over there, is there? Sorry, it's minus 4x minus 8. Sorry, hang on a second.
Minus 4x
Okay.
minus
So
8 minus another
there we
8.
go. So plus 4. So that would be from the binomial. Then it should be minus 4x minus 8 minus 8. There we go. Okay.
Yes.
Now it's correct. Okay, so then over here, we would end up with 2x squared minus 2x, and then we've got 4 minus 8 minus 8, so that would leave us with
12.
negative 12, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Divide by 2.
Yes. And then in your brackets, what did you have, Lisa?
I'll have open brackets x minus 3.
Lovely.
Open x plus 2.
Good. Well done.
X is equal to 3. Or x is equal to 2.
Negative 2.
Yes, negative 2.
Perfect. Negative 2. Lovely. Well done. Well done. That's really, really good. And then how did you solve for y?
I say y is equal to 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. Or y is equal to minus 2 plus 2 is equal to 0.
Lovely.
Then the
Okay.
coordinate is 3 is to 5 and minus 2 is to 0.
That's it. So 3 and 5 and minus 2 and 0. Well done, Lisa. Well done, Lisa. That was absolutely perfect. I could not have said it better. 100%. Okay, so I just want to go back. If you have a look at question 1.1, okay, we only got one solution. Okay, so here we just got the coordinates minus 2 and 2 for question 1.1. So what does that mean about the line y equals x plus 4 and the circle concerned in x squared plus y squared equals 8? What could we say about the line? Matrix, what could we say about the line in 1.1?
Ma'am, isn't it like it's a straight line?
Sure, but what is its relationship with the circle? So if we go back and look at this information over here, because there is only one point of intersection, this line has to be a, some of you are putting it in the chat, perfect. It has to be a tangent, perfect. Okay, 100%. Okay, so in question 1.1, the line y equals x plus 4 is a tangent to the circle. Okay, very good. In question 1.2, we can see that we have two pairs of solutions. So we have the point 3 and 5, and we have the other point minus 2 and 0. So what can we say about the line in 1.2? What is its relationship with the circle? Yes, lovely, everybody. It's a secant. Good. Perfect. It certainly is. Well done. Lovely, Matrix. Good stuff. Okay, so now we have practiced the basics. Let's go on and look at a slightly more, it's not that much more difficult, but let's go and have a look at another question. Okay, Ceci, I see you've got a hand up. Do you want to ask a question?
I wanted to ask, thereby 2x squared minus 2x minus 12, do you have to
Yes.
divide by the do you have to divide by 2, or can you go straight to your brackets?
You can go straight to the brackets if you want to, but it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to factorize it if you don't divide through by 2. And then there's going to be a little bit of extra work on the end, because you're going to end up with brackets where there is a common factor inside. All right, so it's just easier to divide by 2 first and then go ahead and go and factorize. That's why we do it. Okay, of course, if you don't want to factorize and you get to this point over here, let me just put an arrow there, you get here, you could also at that point not worry about dividing through by 2 and go straight to subbing into the quadratic formula. That's an alternative. Okay, but then you would have to show that you've subbed into the quadratic formula.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Okay, no problem. Right, if there aren't any other questions, I'll move on. Any last questions, Matrix? Okay, Lebogang, let's just have a look at what you're asking. By 1.1, why did the -8 positive in the second step? Okay, so because it was +8 on the right-hand side, Lebogang. Okay, so it was +8 on the right-hand side. So when it went over to the other side, it was -8. So now you've got +16 minus 8. So that's why I would have to give you +8 over here. Okay, I hope I've answered that question. Is that what you were asking about, Lebogang? Okay. All right. Just one more question, guys, in the chat. Which question are you referring to? 1.2, Mohau? 1.1. When you say the other equation, what do you mean by that? So what you would have to do. Okay, so are you saying, okay, so you can't substitute x squared plus y squared equals 8 into the other equation. You can sub a linear equation into a quadratic, but you can't sub a quadratic into a linear. Okay, because it's possible to take a linear equation and make it quadratic by squaring it. Okay, so we can't do that with, okay, so it would have to be the linear into the quadratic. Okay, every single time. All right, always linear into quadratic, not the other way. Okay. All right. So let's have a look at the sort of question that we would have to do, where we would have to apply some of this information that we have learned about in the previous lessons. Okay, so let's look at this example. They give us the line y equals 3 minus x. That's the orange line, Matrix. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use some colors here and just highlighted. I hope the orange highlighter is, oh, it's a bit dark, isn't it? Okay, so that's this orange line over here. Okay, it's the line y equals 3 minus x. Intersects the circle is in blue, and the equation of the circle is given to us as x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals 13, and it intersects the circle at 2 points, at P, which is this point up here in the second quadrant, and at Q, which looks as though it's a point on the x-axis. The first thing that they want us to do is calculate the coordinates of P and Q. After we've done that, they want us to calculate the length of P and Q. Then they want us to write down the coordinates of C And then they ask us if CM is perpendicular to PQ, write down with the reason the length of PM, and then we're going to recall something from grade 11 circle geometry before we are able to do that. Let's see how you guys do with question 4.1. All right, when you are done 4.1, put done in the chat. If you think you can do 4.2, then you're welcome to get started, but then I will do the rest with you. Okay, so just in case you need this formula, I'm just putting it here. Okay, give that a try. All right, so we're all going to try 4.1.
Let's give it a try, Mom. My people. Let's see
So this
what
is
we
a
can do.
little bit different from what we've seen before, because now we're not subbing into general form or into an equation where the circle is at the center. This is now an equation or an equation of a circle in center radius form. Let's see what happens.
All the best. Remember to say done when you're done on the chart, like this teacher Lee and I can see that you're done. And always remember to mute when you're not talking to us. I keep on muting you guys, but you keep on unmuting for some reason.
So a
But I
P-way
still love
is
you.
done. All right, so a
Mm.
P-way, if you're feeling confident, you can try question 4.2, because we are going to get there eventually. Tuto, you've got a hand up. Do you want to ask a question?
Yes, ma'am. I think this is too tricky because of there are two equations there: x minus 1 squared plus y minus 3 squared equals to 13. Like, I haven't done this before, so I don't know if I have to do the x minus 1 firstly, then come with y minus 3, or I should do them all in one thing.
Okay, so what we would do is we would solve simultaneously, just like we've seen in the previous two questions. So you've got to take the orange equation and sub it into the blue one. Okay, so where you see y in the blue one, you need to replace that with 3 minus x and then solve the equation only in terms of x.
Okay, I now understand. Can I do it?
Okay, all right, no problem. So when you say afterwards must I substitute or factorize, at what point are you?
So, ma'am, right now I've got like negative 2x minus 12. Then afterwards,
Negative 2x.
minus
Just say that
12.
again.
Negative 2x minus 12 equals to 0, ma'am, and 4.1.
Okay, so now you can't have that because there are 2 points of intersection. So you have to have a quadratic. Okay, it has to be there has to be a square on your x somewhere. Okay, you can't be dealing with the linear equation. It has to be a quadratic equation.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Okay, so just go back and check your working.
Yeah.
Faheen?
Ma'am, I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, I want to first ask is that with the orange equation, after you solve it by putting the x and the number separate from v, can you first solve the parenthesis of the one in the blue first and then insert that straight line equation into that, the orange one into that equation after solving
Yes.
the brackets in the blue one?
Well, you see, what you would normally do is you would substitute first and then you would remove all your brackets. That's generally the order in which you would work.
Because that's what I did.
But if you want to multiply out that first bracket first and then substitute, it's an unusual way of doing it, but it's not wrong.
Oh, I see.
Okay, but it would be okay.
All right.
All right.
I'm just asking to get confirmation because if I do it in my exam and I'm gonna write it now this week, then I'll know what's happening then. And I'm not gonna be lost.
Yes. No, don't want you to be lost. Mpondoda, that is correct. Okay, so you are replacing. Yes. Just don't forget about the square on the bracket. And again, guys, when you are done with 4.1, say done in the chat. No stress, no pressure. Better for us to do it and do it correctly. Cool, Faheen. Thank you so much. You can go on to question 4.2. I've given you a little hint on how to do that. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Silly me. We're just going to wait for a few more people to finish with 4.1, and then we can do the solution to that. Cool. Letu, well done. Salma's done. Gadi is done. Danelle's done. Nice. Kamchelo's done. Mpondoda's done. Rahim's finished. Cool. Nice, Gugu. Nice, Tseho. Siamtanda, Emihle, Asanda. All right, so there's a whole bunch of you now. Excellent. Well done. Angelique, Mikhail, Mohau, Naledi, Ntlantla. I think I said your name already, Ntlantla. Sorry. Good job, everybody. Okay, so who's feeling brave and wants to tell us how they did this question? Who's feeling brave and wants to tell us how they did it? Any takers?
Afternoon, ma'am.
Afternoon, Ntlantla. How are you?
I'm good, and you, ma'am?
I'm fine, thank you. Do you want to tell me what to write?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, go for
So
it.
firstly, what I did was I expanded the equation
Okay,
for the circle.
okay.
So I
What did
wrote,
you? Mm-hmm.
it was x squared minus 2x plus 1
Mm-hmm. Sure. What did you do after that, Ntlantla? I don't know where Ntlantla's gone. Mpondoda, do you want to take over? I think we've lost Ntlantla.
Hi, ma'am.
Hi there.
So,
Keep going.
okay. I substituted y equal 3 minus x into equation number 2, which is x plus 1 squared plus 3 plus y minus 3 squared equal to 13. So I took the 3 minus x and put it into my y.
Lovely.
And then I got x plus 1 squared plus 3 minus x minus 3 squared equal to 13.
Okay,
And
so
then,
just let me catch up with you. Did you end up with that?
yes, ma'am.
Okay, all right. Keep going. What would you write next?
And then I added my like terms, which is I took x squared plus x squared, and then I got 2x squared. And then I took my 2x that's alone, so I just put it next to the 2x squared. And then I took my 1 minus 13, which gives me negative 12, equal to 0.
Lovely, lovely, Mpondoda. Perfect. Okay, what did you do next?
And then I divided everything by 2. So I got x squared plus x minus 6 equal to 0.
Okay, so if you divided everything by 2, you would have had minus x over here and then minus 6. Or did you divide it by negative 2?
No, I divided by positive 2. I made a
Positive
mistake
2.
there.
No, that's fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. Well done. This is perfect. What you got here so far is really, really good. And then did you factorize?
Yes, I factorized. I got
Okay.
x plus 2, close brackets, x plus 3 equal to 0.
Okay, so it's just because you had your signs wrong that your signs here are a little bit incorrect, but that's not the end of the world. Okay, so you would have ended up with that x plus 2 times x minus 3 to give you x squared minus x minus 6. So you would have had two solutions. One is negative 2 and the other one would be?
Is positive 3.
That's it. Well done. Okay. All right, and now that we have got our solutions for x, we need our solutions for y. Okay, so we would have gone and used the orange equation. What did you do there, Mpondoda? Do you want to just finish this off for us?
Yes, I got y equal to 3 minus 2, or y equal to 3 minus negative 3. And then by the y,
Just let
No,
Mpondodo finish. No problem.
it must be -3. 3 minus -3.
Okay, but then wasn't, oh, sorry. No,
Oh, there was a
but remember
mistake.
there was a mistake. There was a mistake.
Yes,
Okay,
it's fine. There
so
was a mistake. I forgot.
that's fine. Okay, so what we should have
And then
ended
it,
up with was 5
5,
or
0.
that's it. That's it. That's it.
I know.
Did everybody else get the same answers? Did you get -2 and 5 and 3 and 0, Matrix? Okay, so Lisa says yes. Blessing, you're saying no. You're welcome to
No, ma'am.
unmute, Blessing. What do you want to ask?
Oh,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
So just let Blessing go first, and then you can certainly go afterwards.
And please raise
ma'am,
your hand. Like this, we can realize who's talking. Because if you don't raise your hand, I have a tendency of muting everybody. So
Yeah.
raise your hand, and like this, we can check who must talk now. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
I think
Thanks,
it's
Yolanda.
Tutor
Yeah.
Blessing can talk.
Yes, Blessing, go for it.
ma'am,
Mm.
you said we multiplying this equation y equals to 3 minus x from this other equation, right?
So we're
second one.
substituting. We're substituting. So we're
Yes.
substituting 3 minus x where we see y in the other equation. Yes.
Okay, ma'am, you know what I did first?
Mm-hmm.
I just expanded this equation x minus 1 squared.
Okay.
The second equation, I just expanded it before minusing that one, the first one from the second one. Before I did that, I just expanded the first one, and it's x. I just opened two brackets for the first x minus 1 plus this two brackets for y minus 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's nothing wrong
So
with that because if you had x minus 1 squared, then over here in place of this y, you would have had 3 minus x minus 3 squared equals to 13. Is that what you had?
no.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's what you, so the one in orange is the first equation. This whole blue thing, it's not two separate equations. It's just one equation. Okay, there's just
Yeah,
one equal sign over here. Okay, so
yeah.
so that's what you should have had in pink over there, and then you could have gone on and did what Nhlanhla started for us and Mpondoda finished. Okay.
Oh, you know what I did?
What did you do?
Okay, for this one, y minus 3, I just opened two brackets, right? Then I had, then I had y minus 3 into y minus 3. So it's
okay.
y squared minus 3y minus 3y minus 9.
Okay. You see now that's the problem over there is because you didn't substitute. Okay, so you can do it that way if you want to and then go and substitute, but it's going to be much easier for you to substitute first and then multiply stuff out. Okay, so practice trying doing that in the future. Rather substitute first and then multiply everything out rather than going and substituting in the end. Okay. No
Okay, thank you,
problem.
ma'am.
No problem. Okay, so Leanne, you want me to explain where we got the 3 minus x minus 3 squared you just joined? By substitution. All right, so it was what we were just discussing right now as you joined. We are subbing this first equation into the blue one. So where you see the y, you are replacing it with 3 minus x. Okay, so here where there was y is equal to 3 minus x. Okay, Batibile, you're welcome
Hi.
to unmute and speak. Hello.
And can you show me how did you open the bracket 3 minus x minus 3 all squared?
Okay, so 3 minus 3 is going to give you 0, isn't it? So if you got 3 minus x, sorry, I'm writing very badly here. So if you've got 3 minus x minus 3 and you want to square that, all right, 3 minus 3 is 0. So that means that you've got negative x in brackets, which you need to square, which will give you x squared. So that's why over here, I just have x squared.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then it's the minus 13 because the 13 came over from this side onto that side over there. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, no problem. Okay, so we've kind of half finished this. We haven't finished up to the point where we wanted to. Yolanda and I have to go to the standard class very quickly. So I tell you what I'm going to do. All right, let's make the rest of this shame, and then you've got weekend homework. But anyway, unfortunately, matric, there are no breaks, or very
Actually,
few.
teacher
Okay.
Lee, they were asking for homework to teacher
Were they?
Marlies, and
Oh,
Marlies was
okay.
like freaked out, like, oh, you guys get homework, you even ask for homework, so they're very good. They're really nice.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to leave 4.2, 4.3, and 4.4 for homework. Okay. So make sure that you've taken screenshots, everybody.